This episode of Fern and Friends is presented in partnership with Hey Design Guy and Dominion Designs and Media. Welcome back to another edition of the Fern and Friends podcast, which is part of the Fern Effect. AI has an impact in all areas of technology. Today, we will talk user experience, design, research, and its impact on branding. And our guest today joins us from London, England. Tyrone isn't able to join us, so my other virtual podcast assistant will help make a proper introduction. Sophie, thank you for filling in this episode. What can you share about our next guest, Tari?
Hello, Fern. You call her Tari, but allow me to make a proper introduction. Miss Tariro Mupamhadze. Today we're joined by a leading user experience researcher who leads high-impact research across digital and in-store retail environments, turning complex customer behavior into clear, strategic insight. She doesn't just study users, she translates behavior into action. Tariro has partnered with global brands like Charlotte Tilbury, Samsung, and Dyson, championing user needs, optimizing customer journeys, and helping save millions in development costs through inclusive, data-driven decision-making. That's right, millions. From digital platforms to physical retail spaces, she transforms complexity into clarity, data into direction, research into results. Fern, this isn't just an introduction, it's a reminder. When you put the user first, everything changes.
Thank you, Sophie, for sharing a bit about Tari's background. Interesting mix of beauty, design, and music. It's not every day you see creativity and strategy blend so seamlessly. So let's jump right into this episode. Hey girls, so good to see you.
Nice to see you as always, Fern.
It is Friday, 5 o'clock for you, 9 o'clock for me. You're ready for a libation, aren't you?
I'm ready to be free, honestly. Ready for the weekend. Free me, honestly. Get me ready.
Free Tari, free Tari. Well, welcome to Fern and Friends. We're talking about AI. We're jumping right into the conversation. So you're a UX designer. You've been in that space for almost a decade now.
Yeah, honestly, don't remind the viewers of my age, but yes, we're getting up there. We're getting up there.
Girl,
And yeah,
age is just a number. We are looking beautiful. We are looking beautiful. So talk to me about AI and the impact it's had in the UX industry.
Yeah, massive impact, I feel. I think for me as a UX researcher, one of the ways that AI has really helped is just by expediting analysis. If
Okay.
you know anything about the industry and especially my job, you would know that we go through a lot of synthesis around data. We're collecting it, we're having to analyze it, and we're having to then basically pull all of that into presentations and reports. And so for me, one of the best ways that it's really helped me is just by being able to thematically analyze that data. So then, even if I have to go back over it, look at it, make sure that it's correct, at least it's done a lot of that legwork, so that I can come in and then be like, okay, well, do I agree with some of those themes that it's pulling out, or do I think actually there's some things that it's missing, and therefore I can actually add and supplement to it? But essentially, the key takeaway is that it is helping to just make that part of my job a lot quicker. That synthesis and that analysis happen a lot
So
sooner for reporting. So yeah,
are you using any specific tools? I mean, do you have your favorite tools?
I do. And I'm sorry, I love ChatGPT. I really do.
5.2? Are you on 5.2?
I'm all up to date. Honestly, I'm
Okay.
subscribed. I've been a subscriber for the last like 2 years. I was there at the earliest stages of mention around
Awesome.
AI and ChatGPT being my first exposure to it. So I think there's an affinity there just because it was the first that I personally
Right.
was interacting with. And so I feel like everything else has come a little secondary to me because I'm getting so much of what I need with ChatGPT already and OpenAI. So yeah, so that's my current
That's
platform of use. Yeah.
so in the UX design field,
Yes.
um, are they looking or leaning into changing anything in the way they create because of AI? So you talked about
Mm,
synthesis, you talked about
mm,
accelerating information and pulling things together, and you have now so
mm.
many more resources. Is the
Exactly.
industry like driving any specific change from a UX design perspective?
Oh, that's really interesting. Do you mean for the products themselves and like how they're integrating AI into like the actual digital product? 100%. So in my most recent role, I was specifically tasked with creating an AI chatbot, which basically was there to scan your skin. So specifically in the beauty space, which I think is so interesting, right? Scan your skin, look at all those beautiful things about you, and also say to you, like, what do you actually need? What's nourishing you? I think what's interesting about this as a concept is people are starting to use ChatGPT and all those types of platforms for more than just regular questions around their emails and like questions around how do I make this sentence better. There is starting to be a growing interest in utilizing it for everyday lifestyle questions. So if I've got this pimple on my face, like what is that about? What does that mean? And so the capability of being able to scan, have a company that's backed by a lot of history and data around beauty and skincare, and then really giving users a solid answer that's also not going to be what people now, I guess, think of as like AI slump, right? Like just the nonsense, the garbage that they feel like some of these AI tools are pulling when they give them those responses. So that was a really exciting way in which AI was being used in a space that I don't think people consider it to be even used in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So this is AI impacting beauty, right?
beauty, yeah,
And working with the science of kind of what's happening with your face,
exactly.
and then I guess it would provide you recommendations on how to clear that blemish and that from that pimple.
Absolutely, and that's the revenue,
Yeah,
right?
I
Sort of
love that.
like model that comes into it is not just only the recommendation, but here, is something personalized to you. Because if I go into a customer journey, they have so many touch points. And I know that personally because I did that research myself. They have
Right.
so many areas that they're looking at in order to validate their purchase decision. In terms of the economy at the moment, people want to make sure they're making the right purchase decision. So it's really exciting how AI is helping to essentially create the one-stop shop for that entire discovery, exploration, and purchase decision. So yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. So what do you fear about AI? Anything that you fear?
Good question. I think
Ooh,
for
fear.
me, it's always around data protection,
Okay.
especially given the example that I've just said to you, right? Like you are taking the most personal details about a person, you're taking their face. And I think there's a lot of questions around intellectual property with people. What can AI actually take and then start to regurgitate to the next person about you individually as a user and then what it stores in its database to then feed to the next person.
Okay.
And that data is so honestly, it's going to be really vital. It's already vital right now, but I think the concerns will be around like how companies are using it, how
Privacy.
regionally it differentiates, right? Because we have GDPR in the EU, but in the US I know data protection is still something that is like state
Yeah.
owned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's state regulations,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but as this is a global capability, it's not just about what the EU is doing or what the US is doing, but how do you protect data across, globally across the enterprise. So yeah, I get that.
100%,
Uh,
100%.
So
Yeah.
you've got a few fears: data, privacy,
Yes.
use of data.
Yes.
What are your loves? Like, what do you absolutely love about what AI is doing in the world today?
I love how AI speaks to me. I know that there's been this conversation around how AI communicates, and I think it's very interesting because people personalize it to themselves as people and how it communicates and feeds back information. I've recently learned that I am someone who loves a clear and cut breakdown, even of the most complex ideas and methods and just the intricacies of things that maybe I just don't get on a first read. And AI is able to break that down so much in a way that I can understand. And I feel if I had it at university, we would have really just, I mean, gotten on a dean's list, okay? We would have excelled. Not because it's doing the work for me, but it's helping me understand the work that's in front of me. And so that is something that I do feel is valuable. And of course, there is this just going back a little to your previous question, there is this fear, is AI making us less intellectual? Like, are we thinking less? But I do think it can be an aid if you don't let it be the only tool in your arsenal. And then, that over reliance, I think, becomes an issue for some. But for me, it's an aid rather than the
Right.
only thing that I'm utilizing. So, yeah, definitely a
All
support.
right, so we've had this really quick, thank you, Earl. We've had this really quick conversation. Ari is a UX designer. She is based in London, UK, and we met a couple of years ago at a conference, and it's been a joy to watch her career blossom. Thanks for joining Fern and Friends, girl, and we will talk really soon.
Yes, yes, we will. Excited for it. And thank you so much for having me, as
Thank
always.
you, thank you. Wow, that was an intriguing episode and an amazing conversation with Tari. Sophie, based on your point of view, please recap and summarize the conversation in this episode.
Of course, Fern, that was a pretty cool conversation. To wrap up, here are my 3 reflections from your conversation with Tari. First, AI isn't replacing UX professionals, it's accelerating them. For Tari, it's not about handing over the thinking, it's about speeding up the synthesis, organizing complex data, and freeing up more time for human judgment and strategic insight. AI does the heavy lifting, she does the discerning. Second, AI is no longer just a productivity tool, it's becoming part of the customer experience itself. From scanning your skin to guiding purchase decisions, it's moving directly into lifestyle, beauty, and commerce. That's not just innovation, that's transformation. And third, with all that power comes tension. Personalization is exciting, but data protection, privacy, and over-reliance are real concerns. The balance, as Tari put it, is using AI as an AID, not a crutch. So perhaps the real takeaway is this. The future isn't human versus AI, it's human judgment, amplified by AI, responsibly. And that feels like the right note to end on. Would you agree, Fern?
I would agree, Sophie. And thank you for that recap and for assisting me today. Many thanks to our guest, Ms. Tariro Mupamadzi, for joining our conversation and reminding us that the future of AI is still very human. And thank you for joining me and the Fern and Friends community. Keep listening and continue to join the conversation at Fern and Friends on all social media platforms. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and we'll see you soon.